Section 60 of Ulysses. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Ulysses by James Joyce, Part 3, The Nostos, Episode 18, Penelope, Part 5.
Mulvey's was the first when I was in bed that morning, and Mrs. Rubio brought it in with the coffee. She stood there standing when I asked her to hand me, and I pointing at them. I couldn't think of the word, a hairpin to open it. Oh, Horkia, disobliging old thing, and it staring her in the face with her switch of false hair on her, and vain about her appearance, ugly as she was, near 80 or 100, her face a mass of wrinkles with all her religion, domineering because she never could get over the Atlantic fleet coming in, half the ships of the world, and the Union Jack flying with all her carabineros because 4 drunken English sailors took all the rock from them, and because I didn't run into Mass often enough in Santa Maria to please her, with her shawl up in her, except when there was a marriage on with all her miracles of the saints, and her black blessed Virgin in a silver dress, and the sun dancing 3 times on Easter Sunday morning, and when the priest was going by with the bell ring in the Vatican to the dying, blessing herself after his Majestad, an admirer he signed it. I near jumped out of my skin. I wanted to pick him up when I saw him follow me along the Calle Real in the shop window. Then he tipped me just in passing, but I never thought he'd write making an appointment. I had it inside my petticoat bodice all day, reading it up every hole and corner, while father was up at the drill instructing, to find out by the handwriting or the language of stamps. Singing, I remember, "Shall I wear a white rose?" And I wanted to put on the old stupid clock to near the time. He was the first man kissed me under the Moorish wall, my sweetheart when a boy. It never entered my head what kissing meant till he put his tongue in my mouth. His mouth was sweet like, young. I put my knee up to him a few times to learn the way. What did I tell him? I was engaged for fun to the son of a Spanish nobleman named Don Miguel de la Flora, and he believed me, that I was to be married to him in 3 years' time. There's many a true word spoken in jest. There is a flower that bloometh. A few things I told him true about myself, just for him to be imagining. The Spanish girls he didn't like. I suppose one of them wouldn't have him. I got him excited. He crushed all the flowers on my bosom he brought me. He couldn't count the pesetas and the perigordas till I taught him. Capaquin he came from, he said, on the Black Water. But I was too short then, the day before he left. May, yes, it was May when the infant King of Spain was born. I'm always like that in the spring. I'd like a new fellow every year up on the tip-top under the rock near O'Hara's tower. I told him it was struck by lightning, and all about the old Barbary apes they sent to Clapham without a tail, careering all over the show and each other's back. Mrs. Rubio said, "She's a regular old rock scorpion, robbing the chickens out of Inca's farm, and throw stones at you if you went near." He was looking at me. I had that white blouse on, open in the front to encourage him as much as I could without too openly. They were just beginning to be plump. I said I was tired. We lay over the Fir Tree Cove. A wild place, I suppose it must be the highest rock in existence. The galleries and casemates, and those frightful rocks in St. Michael's Cave with the icicles, or whatever they call them, hanging down, and ladders, all the mud plotching my boots. I'm sure that's the way down. The monkeys go under the sea to Africa when they die. The ship's out far like chips. That was the Malta boat passing, yes. The sea and the sky, you could do what you liked, lie there forever. He caressed them outside. They love doing that. It's the roundness there. I was leaning over him with my white rice straw hat to take the newness out of it, the left side of my face the best, my blouse open for his last day, transparent kind of shirt he had. I could see his chest pink. He wanted to touch mine with his for a moment, but I wouldn't let him. He was awfully put out first for fear, you never know, consumption, or leave me with a child, embarazada. That old servant, Inez, told me that 1 drop, even if it got into you at all, after I tried with the banana, but I was afraid it might break and get lost up in me somewhere, because they once took something down out of a woman that was up there for years, covered with lime salts. They're all mad to get in there where they come out of. You'd think they could never go far enough up, and then they're done with you and away till the next time. Yes, because there's a wonderful feeling there, so tender all the time. How did we finish it off? Yes, oh yes, I pulled him off into my handkerchief, pretending not to be excited, but I opened my legs. I wouldn't let him touch inside my petticoat because I had a skirt opening up the side. I tormented the life out of him first, tickling him. I loved rousing that dog in the hotel. Rrst, awak, 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 awak. His eyes shut and a bird flying below us. He was shy all the same. I liked him like that moaning. I made him blush a little when I got over him that way, when I unbuttoned him and took his out and drew the skin back. It kind of an eye in it. They're all buttons, men, down the middle on the wrong side of. Molly darling, he called me. What was his name? Jack? Joe? Harry Mulvey, was it? Yes, I think. A lieutenant. He was rather fair. He had a laugh of a voice, so I went round to the what-you-call-it. Everything was what-you-call-it. Moustache had he. He said he'd come back. Lord, it's just like yesterday to me, and if I was married he'd do it to me, and I promised him yes faithfully. I'd let him block me now, flying. Perhaps he's dead, or killed, or a captain, or admiral. It's nearly 20 years. If I said Fir Tree Cove, he would. If he come up behind me and put his hand over my eyes to guess who, I might recognise him. He's young still, about 40. Perhaps he's married some girl in the Blackwater and is quite changed. They all do. They haven't half the character a woman has. She little knows what I did with her beloved husband before he ever dreamt of her, in broad daylight too, in the sight of the whole world, you might say. They could have put an article about it in the Chronicle. I was a bit wild after when I blew out the old bag the biscuits were in from Benally Brothers and exploded it. Lord, what a bang! All the woodcocks and pigeons screaming, coming back the same way that we went, over Middle Hill round by the old guardhouse and the Jews' burial place, pretending to read out the Hebrew on them. I wanted to fire his pistol. He said he hadn't one. He didn't know what to make of me with his peaked cap on, that he always wore crooked, as often as I settled it straight. HMS Calypso, swinging my hat. That old bishop that spoke off the altar his long preach about women's higher functions, about girls now riding the bicycle and wearing peak caps, and the new woman bloomers. God send him sense and me more money. I suppose they're called after him. I never thought that would be my name, Bloom, when I used to write it in print to see how it looked on a visiting card or practising for the butcher. And oblige M. Bloom. You're looking blooming, Josie used to say after I married him. Well, it's better than Breen or Briggs. Does Brig or those awful names with bottom in them? Mrs. Ramsbottom or some other kind of bottom. Mulvey I wouldn't go mad about either. Or suppose I divorced him. Mrs. Boylan. My mother, whoever she was, might have given me a nicer name, the Lord knows, after the lovely one she had. Lunita Laredo. The fun we had running along Willis Road to Europa Point, twisting in and out all around the other side of Jersey. They were shaking and dancing about in my blouse, like Milly's little ones now when she runs up the stairs. I loved looking down at them. I was jumping up at the pepper trees and the white poplars, pulling the leaves off and throwing them at him. He went to India. He was to write the voyages those men have to make to the ends of the world and back. It's the least they might get a squeeze or two as a woman while they can, going out to be drowned or blown up somewhere. I went up Windmill Hill to the flats that Sunday morning with Captain Rubios. There was dead spyglass like the Sentry had. He said he'd have one or two from on board. I wore that frock from the Beamarsh Paris, and the coral necklace, the straits shining. I could see over to Morocco almost the Bay of Tangier, white, and the Atlas mountain with snow on it, and the straits like a river so clear. Harry. Molly, darling. I was thinking of him on the sea all the time after at Mass, when my petticoat began to slip down at the elevation. Weeks and weeks I kept the handkerchief under my pillow for the smell of him. There was no decent perfume to be gotten at Gibraltar, only that cheap peau d'Espagne that faded and left a stink on you more than anything else. I wanted to give him a memento, He gave me that clumsy cladder ring for luck that I gave Gardner going to South Africa, where all those Boers killed him with their war and fever. But they were well beaten all the same, and if it brought its bad luck with it like an opal or pearl, still, it must have been pure 18-carat gold, because it was very heavy. But what could you get in a place like that, with the sand-frog shower from Africa and that derelict ship that came up the harbour? The Marie what-you-call-it. No, he hadn't a moustache. That was Gardner. Yes, I can see his face clean-shaven. Free from... That train again, weeping tone. Once in the dear dead days beyond the call, close my eyes, breath, my lips forward, kiss, sad look, eyes open, piano air o'er the world the mists began. I hate that. Ist's beg comes love's sweet song. Oh, I'll let that out full when I get in front of the footlights again. Kathleen Carney and her lot of squealers. Miss this, miss that, miss the other. Lot of sparrow farts skitting around talking about politics. They know as much about as my backside. Anything in the world to make themselves some way interesting. Irish home-made beauties. Soldier's daughter am I, aye, and whose are you, bootmakers and publicans? I beg your pardon, coach. I thought you were a wheelbarrow. They'd die down dead off their feet if ever they got a chance of walking down the Alameda on an officer's arm, like me on the bandlight. My eyes flash my bust. That they haven't passion, God help their poor head. I knew more about men and life when I was 15 than they'll know at 50. They don't know how to sing a song like that. Gardner said no man could look at my mouth and teeth, smiling like that, and not think of it. I was afraid he mightn't like my accent first. He's so English. All father left me in spite of his stamps. I've my mother's eyes and figure anyhow, he always said. They're so snotty about themselves, some of these cads. He wasn't a bit like that. He was dead gone on my lips. Let them get a husband first that's fit to be looked at, and a daughter like mine. Or see if they can excite a swell with money that can pick and choose whoever he wants, like Boylan. To do it 4 or 5 times locked in each other's arms, or the voice either. I could have been a prima donna only I married him. Comes love sold, deep down, chin back, not too much, make it double. My lady's bower is too long for an encore. About the moated grange at twilight and vaulted rooms. Yes, I'll sing Winds That Blow from the South, that he gave me after the choir stairs performance. I'll change that lace on my black dress to show off my bubs, and yes, by God, I'll get that big fan mended, make them burst with envy. My hole is itching me always when I think of him. I feel I want to. I feel some wind in me. Better go easy not to wake him. Have him at me again, slobbering after washing every bit of myself, back, belly and sides. If we had even a bath itself, or my own room anyway. I wish he'd sleep in some bed by himself with his cold feet on me. Give us room to even let a fart, God, or do the least thing. Better, yes, hold him like that, a bit on my side. Piano quietly. Sweet. There's that train far away. Pianissimo. One more song.
End of section 60.